Man, we are officially in. Oh, am I still muted? Charlie, bring me up, girl.
The show that brings you
Yo. I am Paul Apostolakis. I am living in Michigan, and Gretchen Whitmer has locked us down a little bit again. We've got my co-host Brad Weisgerber, Salvatore Guzmano. How you boys doing today?
Good.
Okay, so we are growing out mustaches. Salvatore has gone full beard. We're still waiting for the mustache cut. This is so shitty, dude. I look so bad. My kids are like, my daughter's like, Baba, you have to shave, please. Like, she's begging me. Like, she's like, Baba, you look bad. And I'm like, I know, baby, but I made a commitment to my friends that I would grow this monstrosity on my face that I've never done before. Brad, how's you're looking all right? You look a little I mean, you're letting it all go at the same time. Is that what you're doing?
Everything. Yeah. I mean, that was originally the deal. And then you guys started bitching out and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna trim this, I'm gonna shave that." No, it's everything. That was the deal.
Well, dude, it's Movember. It's mustache.
It was the deal. Yeah. No, the deal was everything. At the end, we shave it to a mustache.
Well, there is no end. I have no fucking facial hair. Anyway, so anybody that's listening, thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Go to iTunes. Go to any podcast app. Go to IREpodcast.com. Go to Facebook.com/IRE Podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and review us. It would really help. Today we have an interesting guest on the show. He's a national guy. He's out in California. I can't believe he's up this early. It's 9 a.m. our time, 6 a.m. his time. And his name's Andrew Pawlak. He's a smart marketer. He's created basically mortgage funnels and real estate funnels for mortgage companies like us that helps us get leads online. So I want to bring up Mr. Andrew Pawlak. How are you, sir? Welcome to the show, dude.
What's up, guys?
Not much, dude.
Looks like everybody's kind of got a mustache, except for you, Paul. I don't know. That might take a couple years at this rate.
Yeah.
Dude, it's been 2 full weeks.
Maybe I got like 2023 Movember, you'd have something there.
Bro, it's so bad, dude. I'm half Greek, half Arabic.
No one can even notice it, dude.
Yeah, I can. How
do you say it's so bad when you don't even see it?
You can see parts of it. Look at it.
No, it doesn't. No, you can't see.
All right. Anyways, Mr. Pawlak, welcome to the show, man. I really appreciate you doing it, dude. I know we've met a few times. We work with you as a company. I think you guys do a really good job. What I want to do today is, a lot of people probably don't know the history of Andrew Pawlak and how you got to where you are today. You're having a lot of today, but a lot of times people don't really see the grind behind it until you get to this point, right? I mean, it's not like you woke up one day and decided to be like to help mortgage companies market and you just had a platform, right? Technology doesn't kind of work like that. So I kind of want to get into your history. Then I want to kind of get into your mentality of why your product serves a purpose, right? A lot of people in our industry aren't thinking that way sometimes, right? I think people are more now. And then I kind of want you to know how your product and how you think of companies like ours or mid-sized companies can compete with some of these conglomerates and the billion-dollar spenders like Quicken and lending, the lending tree and all those. So, Andrew, welcome to the show. So, Andrew, first and foremost, man, tell us about your company. What is it that LeadPops does?
Yeah, so we create a conversion platform. It's a SaaS product. It's a plug-and-play method to capture leads. You plug it into your marketing. You get people that are finding you online. You get a bunch of eyeballs typically from doing stuff like this, from doing email marketing, SEO, PPC, Facebook ads, social media, all that stuff combined. A lot of people are focused on, I need to get people in front of my business. I need to get an audience. They don't really think about what's going to happen next. Like, how do I convert that lead? What do I do when someone finally sees me, finds me, they opened up my email, they clicked on my website, my landing page. How do I convert that person into a lead? That seems to be this like forgotten concept, or people have not even really considered it a whole lot, other than, I put a lead form on there. Like I ask them for their name, email, phone number. What else is there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they should call me, right? When are they going to call me? Well,
yeah, exactly. If they don't want to call me, I don't want to. Well, then they're not serious. I don't want to talk to them then.
Yeah.
Thought of, like, hey, there's a psychology to it. If they find you, there's a way to get them to give up their information in a smart, kind of tactful way. We came up with an idea back in 2009 was when I kind of first thought of this. I started thinking and looking at this stuff really heavily. created like a prototype, a little MVP. That's what we call it in the tech world. It's a minimum viable product. So it's just like the bare bones, smallest thing I can put out there to test the idea. Like I've got a whole big plan and all this stuff I want to build in the future, but I can't do that all now. I don't have funding. You know, I got to get this thing out there as quick as possible just to test it, see if it works, see what kind of reaction I can get, see if people want to use it, what the reaction is. So that was, you know, first step was build the MVP. I was cold calling LOs from my kitchen table. I went 14 months without a paycheck, just trying to get this thing out there. I'm like screaming in the forest, talking about lead conversion funnels and this and that. This was 2012 at the time when we launched this thing finally. I mean, no one was hearing it. It was a tough grind, just making these calls and realizing quickly that, hey, man, I'm doing this like one at a time. The few sales I'm getting, I'm also now the customer support guy.
Yeah.
Not enough automation there. We got to like build these things manually still at the time. Like it wasn't like a real SaaS product. You still had to sign people up. You had to build the pages. There was some automation there. We weren't doing them from scratch, but there was still just a whole lot happening. And it was clear to me that I'm going to have to go work for somebody pretty quickly if I don't figure something different out. So I wanted to go after a whale. Ended up working a relationship with Zillow. I cold called my way up. Got a conversation up, got put up higher and higher and higher. A few calls in. Finally, I'm talking to someone that has some influence and was interested. They're like, this makes a whole lot of sense. You know, they've had this thing called a mortgage marketplace, and what they were doing there was not really effective for lead conversion. I knew this stuff pretty well at the time.
Isn't that funny how a big company like Zillow sucks at something? That seems rudimentary, right?
It's so funny because everyone thinks kind of like a lot of these big guys have it all figured out, and they really, really don't in a lot of cases. I mean, no props to them. They're amazing. I'm not saying I'm smarter than those guys. They've got all kinds of stuff they're doing amazing, but there's certain things that, you know, they could do better, right? Especially at that point in time. Lead conversion, they were not doing well. Like it just looked at it and you could see, hey, man, there is a lot of room for improvement. And they're really forward thinking. They were like, that's a really good idea. Let's test it out.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's test this thing out. I'm at my kitchen table. I'm like on the phone with some people at Zillow who are like the director of mortgages. They're like, let's plug this thing in, see what it does.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. And just to recap, Sal and Brad, I mean, you guys know what it is, but basically what Andrew created was you gamified kind of the lead, like the process of someone going in and giving your information. We use it, Brad, Sal, and us coming from Quicken, from an area where Quicken or in the past where we did a lot of lead sales in the area, leads are kind of like a big part of how we grew up. At least I did, Andrew, right? Like I grew up calling leads, converting leads my whole life because I was at Quicken, 2003 to 2008. And I think it might be a little bit more foreign across the country, right? Like people across the country in the mortgage world probably weren't as used to creating a process by which they're going to create their own lead flow, which is very like they had to go out and buy them traditionally from like Lower My Bills or Lending Tree. So you decided to make a lead capture form that would increase conversions from when people landed on it, right?
Yeah, that's it. The idea was really I wanted to productize what I saw Lending Tree and Lower My Bills doing. I realized this in 2009. I co-founded back then a mortgage website template company. We did mortgage website templates. Leads mattered to my clients a lot. I realized that pretty quickly. We were building these sites. They were okay for lead capture, but not really not optimized to convert. So I was like, hey, why don't we look at Lending Tree? That's a big player in the mortgage space. I want to see what they're doing. Like maybe there's something unique that I can find that we can like replicate or kind of create into our own platform. You know, if you can't beat them, join them. These companies spend a lot of money on this stuff. Lower My Bills was another one I was looking at. Lower My Bills sold to Experian at that time for $330 million. That was relatively recent around that time.
Yeah.
21 years old, 22, and this happened. I'm like, $330 million is unfathomable at that time.
Yeah, dude, it's a lot of fucking money.
That's insane. So I was like, okay, so let's see what these guys are doing. And then lo and behold, I see both of them are doing the exact same thing. Like that makes a whole lot of sense. Like logically, how they were approaching lead capture, the way they were asking the questions, the way they're going through a process before presenting, give me your contact info. That whole thing made a lot of sense to me. They were plugging it into everywhere. They're spinning up these pages. Like you clicked on an ad, an email,
like a dancing hula girl, right?
Yeah. All of it was driving back to these kind of fun lead forms.
Right.
had the aliens, the weird banners and stuff.
Yeah.
That would get the eyeballs, right? They would get you to click, but then once you clicked, they got you to give up your information because they were really smart about how they asked you for it. It's all about how you ask the questions, how many questions you ask, the order of the questions, all of that stuff makes or breaks your conversion rate.
There's a lot of psychology that goes into it, right? You have moments like from and Brad and Sal, you guys know this, like when you go to a website and let's say you get asked, there's an ask from you, right? The moment it becomes arduous, or it feels like it's intrusive, you're out, right? Like you're like, peace out, I'm getting off of this, right, Sal and Brad? For you to finish it,
even before that.
Yeah, for you to finish a form, you kind of almost have to be like, it's almost like psychology. It's almost like being like lulled in, like, okay, what are you looking to do? Well, how much is your house worth? How much do you want to refinance? Whatever it may be, whatever the cadence is. And Andrew's done a really good job. I want to just explain something from our business standpoint. We were looking for a way to capture leads, right? We were ranking in SEO. We were getting the traffic, but we weren't getting, our funnels weren't built out properly. Now, can someone build out a funnel and build out a gamified lead capture form? Sure. What Andrew did, I believe, is he did it elegantly, and he created a platform by which you can like manage it, which I think was interesting. So when did you start going into more the sophistication of management of the funnels and that whole part of it?
Okay, so after we did this thing with Zillow, they ended up plugging us in all over their mortgage marketplace. We worked with them for about a year, got a lot of data, a lot of research from that, just saw what the conversion rates were doing, what was working, how many questions, the colors, all this kind of stuff started becoming pretty clear in terms of what was working better than other tests we were doing. Zillow, over that period, 2013, towards the end of 2013, I knew this was going to happen. They kind of informed me from the beginning. Whereas Zillow, we got a tech team that's bigger than your house, right? Like we got lots of people here. We're going to end up building this ourselves. We love working with you. Thanks. It was a great learning experience, but we're not looking to staple some other solution onto our site for the long term. We want to build this out ourselves. So they didn't enter the market with a competing product. They just took what we built for them and kind of built it into their own site. And it's funny because it's still the same thing they've got today. Like it's now.
They literally plagiarized the shit out of you, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it was a tough pill to swallow at the time, but
because there's nothing really proprietary of what you did. But you just made it easy. Is really what you did, right?
Easy.
Yep.
It's the type of thing that's not easy for a loan officer or a mortgage company to do. The multi-step form, the conditional logic, that now I have to feed the data into my CRM. I need a lot of these things. I need to spin one up for VA loans. I want one for FHA. I want to track them individually. I want to see which one's pulling leads, what the conversion rates are. So building out something like that is more complex. But for a company like Zillow, it's like, hey, we're just using this in our own site. We're not going to create a SaaS product and go sell lead forms and funnels to mortgage lenders, but we're going to kind of build our own version of this into our site. What I did quickly was pivoted to, okay, who else is out there? What's another big player in this space that I can show what I did with Zillow? Now I got a feather in my cap. Now I can talk to some other big companies. Bankrate was right there, like waiting in the wings for us, because we had a couple other clients that were on both Zillow and Bankrate. Bankrate was losing a lot of money and a lot of clients to Zillow. Like people were taking $100,000+ a month of ad spend, taking it off of Bankrate, moving it over to Zillow, because Bankrate wasn't even thinking about the conversion part of it. Like at least Zillow was providing you at the time before we came in with some landing pages they're pretty poorly done, but it was better than what Bankrate was doing at the time, which was, hey, just give us your money. You give us the link. We don't we'll drive the traffic. It's $12 a click. Give us whatever you give us, we'll put on there. We don't even look at it. So I'm looking at Bankrate's rate table and I'm clicking on stuff. I got like Adobe Acrobat running, like loading up a PDF. Like rates.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is big here. Bankrate's a big company. They're doing it way worse than Zillow. I can go show Bankrate what we did with Zillow. So I approached it differently, let them know, hey, I'm not looking to like give you guys my secret sauce and kind of get cut out of the equation. They were super ethical about it. Like, I'm not going to say Zillow's not ethical, but they're a little cutthroat, right? Zillow's like,
Zillow's give a fuck, bro.
We don't give a shit.
They don't give a fuck, bro.
Bankrate's like, hey, this little kid here's got some great ideas. Let's bring him in. He can help us out. We can build this thing together. So Bankrate ends up spending about $250,000 with us over 3 years. They completely changed their business model, as did Zillow at this point. Zillow changed from selling clicks. They had banner ads all over their website, driving stuff all to all types of different sites. They shut all that down. They said banner ads on our site sucks. Crappy experience. We figured out this conversion problem we were having. Now we can shut out all the banners, and now we're going to start selling leads ourselves.
Yeah.
So that was a pivot in their business model. Bankrate, very after 3 years, very much the same, did the same thing.
Yeah.
We helped them with the conversion problem, did a whole bunch of testing. They changed their business model, converted into selling leads. They sold to Red Ventures, a venture capital company, in 2017 for $1.24 billion.
Jesus Christ. I didn't know that. That's a lot of money, dude. Sal, we're in the wrong business, bro.
Hey, that's what do you think I'm doing here? the leads matter. Like, hey, clicks are great. Traffic marketing, all that's good stuff. You've got to understand the conversion issue. If you don't fix that, all this other stuff you're doing to market your business is going to suffer. And most people don't know about it. So that's been my focus. I took what we learned with Bankrate, Zillow, turned it into a real SaaS product, which we launched in about 2017. At that point, it really was, you sign up, you launch an account, all the pages are ready to go. You upload your logo and like your NMLS number and where you want your leads to go. It's all automated. You can plug and play into what Zillow and Bankrate are doing and do it for yourself. You got to drive traffic, but you don't want to even drive traffic until you fix that conversion issue. So we've created a plug and play platform to convert leads. We started offering websites and marketing services because it's all kind of an ecosystem now. You know, clients sign up, they're like, hey, I love your lead funnels. I want a better website. Can you do that for me? Hey,
it's a gateway drug, really. It's a gateway drug. Like you've got the gateway, you've got the funnels, and if they need help with the other processes, you offer that, which is awesome. I think you guys have done a really interesting job. We're seeing like just
the needles.
The what?
So you'll provide the needles and the spoons and
what do you think? Did you go to drug reference, dude? You went to drugs?
You did first.
As he said, I'm getting them hooked. I bring them in with a little bit of something, and then they keep coming back.
I mean, it's not crack rock, bro. What are you talking about?
Kind of is.
It is actually crack rock. It is actually crack rock.
They get that hit, they get that lead coming in. They're like, holy crap! You know, that's the goal is create that opportunity for clients to generate their own leads. It's like, here's what Quicken's doing. You know, Quicken Loans bought Lower My Bills in 2017. So interesting to think about, like a big mortgage company like Quicken Loans, huge amount of money. Instead of them trying to figure this stuff out themselves, which they could over time.
They tried, they sucked at it, just stuff.
Yeah, they said, okay, well, we're not really doing this very well. We have this rocket. Guess what? They don't even put that rocket on the receiving end of their pay-per-click ads. They put the Lower My Bills style lead form on it because they even know the rocket's cool to automate the process. It's a good marketing tactic. It's
good
not
brand
for lead gen.
Yeah.
A 1003 is not good for lead gen. Like, I don't care how fun and automated it is once you get inside of it. The fact that the button even says apply scares people off.
Yeah.
And I click apply and it's telling me to create an account. Ugh, I don't even know you. I just found you on Google. Like, what?
Yeah.
So all these friction points that LOs don't understand. Realtors a lot of times don't understand this stuff. They do a bunch of marketing and then they wrongly assume the marketing didn't work. They're like, I tried that before. Yeah, I tried those Facebook ads. I tried the Google stuff. You know, it just didn't work for me. It's like, hey, you got a bunch of clicks, man. You know what didn't work was your conversion. Nobody got a bunch of people that clicked. Nobody converted into a lead, and then you took a step back and said, you know what, that stuff doesn't work. It sure does. Nobody calls to tell you, like, hey, Paul, just want to let you know, man, I found you, clicked on your page, but man, your lead conversion funnels didn't work. So they don't.
You told me that.
They don't give you that.
I'll tell you a story about Andrew. We're in part of this Brokers Are Better group, right? And Sal, you'll appreciate this because we do stuff like this. But like, I just randomly reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, man, you actually had said I'll take a look at your website for free or for whatever it was. I forget what it was. I didn't know Andrew at the time, and I was like, "Yeah, check out my website, dude. I'll get some free feedback. You know what I mean?" So he's like, "All right, I'll get back to you." And dude, he did at the time. Our older version of our website obviously had a lot of issues, but he did. Like he had his picture on the bottom and he went through our website page by page and told us how fucked up it all was. And I was like, this guy's fucking awesome. And he knows his shit, right? He understands the mentality of how to do lead capture. So when we did our revamp of our new website, a lot of the things that we talked about, like I thought about, right? Like he knows the mentality of how to do lead capture. Now we're doing a lot of lead capture because of Andrew's tutelage on the front end, obviously our work on the back end, and then his lead capture on the front end. So what we had a problem with, Andrew, is we actually were driving traffic, right? But we weren't getting the conversions. And I remember, hey, Brad and Sal, do you guys remember when I created my first lead through Facebook, how fucking excited I was?
Yeah, it was like freaking dog shit.
It was a horrible lead. But dude, the idea, Andrew, that I was able to create a human or a potential buyer or refinance person out of like thin air, which is the internet. What people don't really realize is you can create a machine and it's called your website. And that website, as long as it plays well with Google, that website, if it's optimized correctly and has good lead capture, It is literally a money-making machine because it will generate humans that want to conduct business with you all day, every day, just like this. It's like literally doing it. And all you got to do is work the leads on the other end and you make money. Like once you have it built, it's built, right? Yeah. So do you want to talk to me, Andrew, about like you go by Andrew, right? You don't go by Andy.
Andrew.
Yeah. So like, can you talk to people about the mentality of why it's important to kind of own, because you can't just get this form and all of a sudden get leads. It doesn't really work like that. You still have to have a website that works, that plays nice with SEO, with Google. So what this funnel that you've created, it has to go on top of something, right? And what should that look like from like a mortgage company? Because how many shitty websites are there out there in general? Period, right? It's that one pager that looks like it's from 1970 that says contact me here, and it's like got an AOL account as their email address, right?
Oh,
right. So
whenever we see a lead come in for us and we see an @AOL.com email, we got a little lead scoring thing we do. We're like, uh-oh.
Yeah. They're either 70 years old or they're still using a Windows 95 computer.
Yeah. So good question. The website's got to have call to actions. Your marketing in general has to have call to action language. Like everybody's forgetting that piece too. Or they try to lead the way. They lead the charge with apply online or apply now, apply today. That is the big call to action. They're screaming it on social media. Hey guys, rates are really low. Here's a link to my Flowify. Apply today. And it's, hey, Flowify is awesome. I think it's great. Good tool. There's some good loan app POS systems out there. But that's not what you're going to tell people. Like, I haven't talked to you, man. Like, I've never spoken with you before in my life. I see you on social media sometimes. You got some cool videos. Got good reviews, it looks like, but I'm not going to just jump into a loan application with you like my first step.
I'm not giving you my social off the bat, right?
All that stuff. So understanding that a call to action is not apply now. You know, there's stuff that's really smart that you can look at. I always tell clients, be a student of your competition, not the local smaller guys as much as some of the bigger players. You know, you want to look at both, but when it comes to marketing, like what should I be saying? What kind of language should I be using? Take a look at Veterans United. They're awesome.
They're doing a good job, dude. They're crushing.
Very good at this stuff.
Yeah.
Look at lending. If you go to their website, sign up for freaking Quicken Loans emails. So have a burner account and just read and see what they're sending you every day and look at, oh, wow, that's pretty smart. So they send me a little email. It's about this much text. Then they got a button that says apply. There's always the one to their rocket, but then there's always one to today's rates. Get today's rates because they know people are looking for today's rates. That's a very popular search term that people are searching online. You click today's rates. It doesn't take you to a rate table. It takes you to a lead form. And they're like, hey, rates are really low today. Find out what you qualify for. What are you looking to buy or refinance? Oh, I'm looking to refinance. Okay, cool. Well, what's your current rate? They start asking you a whole bunch of questions and they suck you into this whole process. Before you know it, they're asking you for your name, email, phone number. Like, damn it, you got me. I just spent like 2 minutes answering all these other
You're pot committed. You're pot committed.
Yeah, so that's the
do you feel
and then as soon as you fill out your name, email, phone number, your phone rings off the hook for the next 20 days.
That's what they do. And I'm not a big fan of especially the companies that are selling leads. I think it's a really shitty thing to do to a consumer is take them to my website, go to LendingTree, fill out a form, and now we're going to sell that thing off to 20 other loan officers. But their capture process is what's smart. And that's what we're trying to say. Yes. Hey, LOs, see how they asked for that info. See how that language said, hey, see if you're eligible. Hey, a VA loan, you buy a home for 0 down. Find out if you're eligible. Click the link below. It only takes 60 seconds to get started. Oh, okay. See if I'm eligible. Then the first question is like, hey, what branch of military are you in? And they start asking some questions about the whole thing. And then you get yourself sucked into this easy question and answer process. You give them like 25 points of data. And then it's give me your name, email, phone number. There's this kind of a sweet spot. Too few questions actually isn't good because people bail on the form or they end up giving you bogus information because they're not really committed. They're not invested. Too many questions for obvious reasons is too many. People just don't go all the way through to the process. So anywhere from like 12 to 20 or so questions is pretty good. It's kind of a sweet spot in terms of what you're asking for. And then at the end, name, email, phone number. And then you want to follow up immediately. You know, a text message to that lead is the best way to follow up within 30 seconds. Send them a text message. You should have some automation that's doing that. Have a really smart thank you page at the end of the funnel. So it's not just thanks, someone's going to call you. And they're like, huh, that kind of sucks. Okay, well, I'm just going to click off this and go back to my Google search or whatever, and then I'll go into LendingTrees and fill theirs out. And if you don't call me quick, LendingTree gets me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So having a thank you page or even a video where it's like, yo, it's Paul. Thank you so much for going through this process with me. I want to let you know next step. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to get a text message from my assistant.
Right.
Your phone's probably going to beep while you're watching this video. Respond to that because that's the first. And if you do have that automation in place, their phone will beep while they're watching the video. And they're like, holy shit, that's him. He did what he said he was going to do. That's pretty cool. This guy's on top of his stuff. I'm impressed. You know, you can say, hey, book a time with our team below. I have a calendar link. You can move to the front of the line. Rates are really hot. Our calendars are filling up. But if you book a time using the link below, you'll jump to the front of the line. That's our kind of secret calendar that puts you on with one of our advisors. Now they book themselves into your calendar. You know, there's some cool stuff you can kind of do to further move things forward on that thank you page. That is, you've got a captive audience. The smart companies do stuff with their thank you pages. It's a really important moment in time that you can optimize. Even something really cool like a FinLocker. Hey, my gift from us to you. Download our free budgeting app. There's a link below this thing, and now you've given them a gift.
Yes.
Like, this is really
free
rad.
value, dude. Free value.
Yeah. So now they downloaded something. Now you freaking live on their phone, right? So there's another opportunity to kind of think like, hey, what other tools or systems do I have? Calendar Link is a good one. Something like FinLocker, really awesome solution. Why don't we let them download that on our thank you page? Point them to it. Tell them what it does. That's our gift to you. Whether or not you even do your loan with us, we'd be honored if you did. But if you don't, we've got a really awesome app that's going to get you ready to buy a home. Download that. It's going to get you, whatever. Just sell it a little bit and then let them get on it, right?
Yeah. Free PDF, free whatever it is that you to your point, the thank you page is really important. I think it's underlooked. I think everything in this process is underlooked. I think most companies don't do this well because there's so many different intricate parts. You have to be optimized for SEO. You have to create the traffic. You have to add value. You've got to have content. And then when you create all this stuff, if you're not creating a good funnel and you're not getting conversions when they land on your page, like, just to be fair, Andrew, when they land on our funnel, on your funnel, I should say, our conversion's anywhere from 12 to 15%. So I don't know, is that good in this grand scheme of things, or is that bad? Right?
Anything in double digits, I think is good.
Yes.
It depends on the traffic source. We see anywhere from 8%. I'm usually like, that's not that great, but it's okay compared to what you're typically seeing on like mortgage sites and mortgage marketing, up to like 35-40%, depending on what the traffic source is. So it goes, the range is big, and it really does depend. How are they finding it? Is it a Facebook click, or is it a click organically from the homepage of your website, where the conversion rates on that are much higher?
Yeah. We stopped doing Facebook leads, dude, because we just use Facebook and social for branding. I believe the intent is so much higher through Google when someone is searching interest rates as opposed to, push. It's not like we have a sexy product to give them. It's not like I can take a rate, put a bow on it, and then everybody's like, damn, I need that, right? They don't. I mean, they don't, and we don't sell rates because rates are not smart.
A question I have. I mean, a lot of it sounds like you just said, right? You're looking for the person who's looking for the rate, or they already have the intent. And if you think about, at least right now, while the seas are rich with fish per se, right? Like, if there's 100 million people who could refi right now, right? And essentially you guys are funneling the ones who are looking to refi. What type of strategies are out there, or besides spending billions of dollars on, TV, radio, and ads like that turn a dormant lead, or someone who could refi but isn't even thinking about it, into someone who could essentially end up in those funnels? I mean, it sounds like you've got like the funnel created, but how do you push people to those funnels otherwise?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So Paul's talking about, hey, when someone's searching for us, like Google ads, Google clicks, that's a smart way to get in front of the people that are looking.
Local SEO.
People that aren't looking, that's where the Facebook stuff comes in. You just show up in their feed. They're on there. They're on social media, they're on Instagram, and you just show up, and you got to have something compelling that stops the scroll where they're like, what's this about? And you start pitching and selling the concept of, hey, find out if you could lower your monthly payment. It takes about 60 seconds to run a free calculator that we've got set up that'll help you figure out how much you could save. No obligation. Click the link below. Find out exactly what a refinance could do for you. Keep more of your own money. Quit giving it to the bank. It's really easy, and rates are lower than they've ever been. You got to start planting that seed with education, with content, videos, information that you can put out there on social media, email marketing. Here's the essence of this lead funnel concept that a lot of people don't think about. It's buttons and links. That's all it is. You put buttons and links in all of your marketing. Anywhere you can put a link or a button, that's what you do. Got a really smart mortgage broker client and friend who's like, dude, at this point, you've like rewired how I think. He's like, I put a lead funnel on anything that moves. I love that quote. He's like, dude, if I'm putting a post on social media, I'm always like, hey, I just helped a client buy a house. I got like me and them, like we're on the porch together. It's all nice. We just bought a house. Cool. Hey, you could buy a house if you're paying rent and it's like $1,800 or more a month.
Fill us up.
Yeah. Find out if you qualify. Click my little rent versus buy qualifier link. So he takes that review post of him with a family, takes a link to a lead funnel and just includes that. It's just a copy and a paste. And it's like, hey, we're about to send an email blast to 700 people in our database about the fact that rates have dropped. And hey, now is the time to start thinking about buying a home. If you're serious about buying in the next three to 6 months, find out if you're qualified. It takes about 60 seconds. Click the link below and you grab a link to a lead funnel and you insert that in your email the same way Quicken Loans is doing it.
Yeah.
Blog posts, same kind of thing. As you're writing content, take a look at what the Mortgage Reports is doing. Really smart reference point for you to look at if you're in the mortgage marketing space at all and you're thinking about how do you get more out of your mortgage blog. They just have a really good content every like 2 paragraphs. Link, find out today's rates, see if you qualify, find out what today's rate is. Any one of those links you click pulls you back into a lead form. So as you're reading stuff, they're strategically just layering links that pull you back into that lead form. Same thing Zillow does all over their little learning center, their mortgage calculator. They know people like mortgage calculators. It's the most popular mortgage search phrase out there. It's like 4 million searches per month. People always ask like, hey, how do I figure out what I should build my content on? Google Trends, Google search volume. Look at something like SEMrush, a keyword planner tool. Look at what are people actually typing in. Build your content, your videos, your topics, your blogs around the topics that are the most popular search phrases. That gives you an idea of what people are interested in. And then as you layer that content together, you literally just insert link every paragraph, every other paragraph. So as they read, there's a call to action that's like, hey, find out if you qualify. Rates are really low. See if you're eligible. You click and then it pulls you back into that little lead form. So the whole point of it, we got a small window of opportunity while they're thinking about this stuff. They're interested in mortgage before, who knows, Kim Kardashian, what she's eating for breakfast pops up on their screen. We got to keep them focused on this. And during this period of time, we got to pull them into something that's going to engage them and collect information. Otherwise, we're hoping they like it and they call you.
Dude, there's so many. Here's the thing about this game, the lead game, is that it takes a lot of it never ends. You're always tweaking, right? You're always like, fuck, I should put that here, or hey man, this copy's too long. Go ahead, Selby.
What's interesting, I mean, it's like everything you learned when you were calling leads, right? And like, man, you better have your shit ready in 30 seconds because you're going to lose their attention. They're going to go elsewhere, right? And then essentially, you guys are creating the AI that does that for you, essentially, and you just have someone who may not need to be as qualified to get that info, right? Or as good on the phone because the info's already there. They just got to write it alone.
Yeah, I mean, you still have to convert it, right? I mean, it's
I mean, they got to do it, but I'm saying like they've already given their social security number potentially, right?
Not on these
app or filled out a pre-app or whatever it is, right?
Here's what I would say to your point that I like about that. They've given you the answers to like 20 questions. That is not the awkward phone person. Hopefully they're good at extract. They've just voluntarily given you that. Now the phone person that gets that lead has to be good at, okay, let's confirm. Here's what I got from you. Let's make sure that what you gave me on the lead form online is accurate because there's always that process. Yeah. Like they could have flown through it.
They have to be a better data analyzer to a degree than a salesman, right? Yeah. Like, so hey, you've given me the data. I've given you options for a loan versus, hey, what's your dog's name, right? Like things like that to open someone up. You've done that via AI, essentially, right?
Yeah, it's recreating what you would do in real life. Someone walked in your office. These are the same questions you'd ask them probably within the first 5 minutes. The form did it for you. We got them to voluntarily give you that. So you can start out the conversation. And if let's just say 2 leads come in at the exact same time, you're like, oh, this one's not employed and they make less than 30, 40 grand a year. This one just came in $100,000 a year. Employed, excellent credit. You get to see that stuff. I'm not saying you're not going to take care of that other person, but if I had a priority and 2 of them came in at the same time, I can quickly look at these things, score the lead and say, okay, this one's a priority for me to call back right away. This one I'll call back as soon as I can just to kind of talk to them and see what we can do. You're able to assess and analyze. You get 20 points of data. It empowers you to be a better salesperson on your phone call because you know where to take that conversation. Oh, first-time home buyer. I'm going to talk to Sally a little bit differently than this one that said that, they bought a house before. It's different conversation, different rapport building questions I might ask and like get to know her a little bit. Oh, this is exciting. It's your first time buying a house. Why? what makes now the right time for you to figure out like what's the why and all these things you know how to do as a good salesperson, but you've got the answers to those questions first. So once you call, you're in a better position to know how to kind of guide that phone call and what to ask next and what to say.
Yeah.
So it starts out the conversation where it's very different than you got to lead with name, email, phone number. Here's Rita. She says she wants to refinance, and you got to start from scratch. You don't know anything. Now you spend that first 10, 20 minutes asking the questions the form could have gotten for you.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. You know, what's crazy, Andrew, is we're here in Quicken Loans backyard, right? They spend $1 billion in marketing. So I just want to give the audience kind of an example. And our stats for lead generation, we generated like 240 leads. 83% of the time we outrank Quicken at top of page scenarios with only 13% of the market impression share, which we only spent $5,000 for the impression share, but we got 13% of the impression share when they're spending billions across the country, of course, right? So the local SEO is, in my opinion, it's going to get out. You're going to outrank national companies because you're local. Google loves it, the fact that you're local. So utilizing and making sure that your SEO optimized is so big, but playing nice with Google is really big because you could ultimately, if done correctly, outrank some of these big companies with your little local shop in Royal Oak, Michigan, right? So talk to me, Andrew, talk to the audience about why that works and why aren't more mortgage companies doing this at the local level?
Well, I don't think that a lot of them even understand anything about SEO. They don't know what the keywords are. They don't know what to go after. They don't really understand realistically what could be something to target. You know, the 3-pack placing locally in the Google Maps listings is going to be different than organic SEO. So building up your local rankings, having the right citations, working on your reviews, working on your Google My Business listing, 100%, that is a lot more in your control, and you can optimize better based on where you're located to place there than just organically, like coming up for something like I'm in San Diego Mortgage Company, something along those lines. That's pretty
crowded. Yeah,
that's crowded. But here's the thing also, that a lot of people, they get all excited about SEO, and then it's here's the missing piece. They get some clunky SEO contract from some company who makes some big promises, has a bunch of charts. Here's what
they all suck.
And the keywords don't really get typed in enough. It's like, dude, San Diego Mortgage gets typed in like 150 times a month.
Well, you're ranking number one for spinach pies or whatever.
Yeah, it's not enough search volume to justify the multi-year effort it's probably going to take to get up to the top for something that competitive. So
it is a multi-year effort. I don't think people get that. It's not an overnight thing. You got to work really hard at it over a long period of time to be able to rank for a lot of keywords, because you've got to have a lot of domain authority. And domain authority is how well your website ranks on Google's algorithm, and how because Google ultimately, Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong, they ultimately want to serve up the searcher the best possible option that's going to give them the information that they're looking for. And if they don't think you're a good enough website to serve up, they're not going to, right?
Yeah, it's their reputation on the line, right? People won't use their search tool if they're getting sites that don't match what they're looking for, or trying to game the system by putting a bunch of really crap content on their website just to have the keywords in there, and it's just you can't even read it because every other word I read is San Diego Mortgage for the best San Diego mortgage lender in San Diego. It's all. A lot of that junk has gotten out of the rankings because Google figured out, like, people are gaming the system. Here's what we're looking to do. So their robot's a lot smarter than it used to be. So it really is quality content. Does it read well? It should have keywords in it. Is the page structured correctly? Are the title tags correct? Does the content match the title tags? Is there interlinking between the pages, taking me from one page to another with the right keywords within the page? What does your backlink strategy look like? All that kind of stuff is tied into it. So,
yeah, obviously you're going a little over the top, but it's fine. I mean, people shouldn't understand that stuff. But ultimately, like the thing about Google is, like, there's a lot of what we call black hat, white hat, and gray hat. Like, for the audience out there to understand that, like, Google has their algorithm, they have their rules, but there's ways to exploit them. Like something that people used to do in the past was, we'd have a white background and they would just fill it with a bunch of white words. So like it would pick up all the keywords. Well, Google figured that out. And if your whole business model was based on doing these black hat or like cheating the system, you're going to get clipped eventually. But if you play by the rules, Google will reward you over time. Isn't that true, Andrew?
Yeah, absolutely. If you build out the content, you do right by your customer. If you're really building out good information, a lot of good information you're adding regularly, it's unique, it's quality, You've again got the right structure to the pages. All that kind of stuff can start playing out over time. And really, I recommend people look for longer tail keywords. Just basically more words in the phrase is a lot of times also, hey, it doesn't get typed in as often, but it's a more specific search phrase that's easier to rank for. And you're going to get a lot of times a higher quality visitor because they really know what they're looking for. So, identifying some longer search strings versus just something like San Diego mortgage. That's going to be a real tough one. But hey, renovation loans in certain area, San Diego, stuff like that.
One of our best ones is pre-approval versus pre-qualification, right? That one performs really well. It's a little bit off the cusp, and people are kind of wondering what's the difference, right? So that does really well. So you've got to kind of think of not what's in the house, but like what are people looking at in the yard, and then it's kind of like maybe not the very most important thing, but on the outside, it's like you can talk about the trees and all that. Same thing with mortgages. You might not be talking about refinance directly, but it might be home improvement. Well, that's cash out, right? So the question, it's funny to me, man, how many shops, I mean, there's like so many mortgage shops across the country, right? How many places have you seen personally that do SEO well in our space? And you know what I mean? What's a percentage? I feel like it's a small percentage, to be fair.
It's a few. It's not a big number. I don't have a good percentage to give, but I'd say overall it's a small percentage. And companies that are placing in Google are just kind of there by default because there's not a whole lot going on. So when you look at any search phrase that you're interested in, a starting point is not just how often does it get typed in, because that gives you an idea of, is this even worth it? How many times people come to me and they're like, hey man, this company promised me to get to the top of Google for this search phrase or some of these things. Sounds really good. And then you start looking and you're like, dude, nobody types that in. Nobody's typing in home loan pre-approval San Diego mortgage company.
But they're number one, dude.
I'm number one for nothing, right? So that's the important part. And then also, if you type in the search phrase and the full first page is nothing but Zillow, bank rate, Quicken Loans, Lending Tree,
it's going to have deep pockets.
Really to dethrone one of those guys, and your little local website starts placing. So if it's nothing in the top 10, that's even a smaller type site, it's going to be really tough to break through. But if it's a more obscure keyword, there's some search volume, but it's not heavy, and you have a whole lot of those kinds of searches because you got a lot of blog content, a lot of articles, a lot of good information on your site, linking back and forth. Again, the title tags of the pages, all that matters a whole lot. There's too many times I look at the title tags, they don't match the content. Title tag of the website says like home dash the company's name, stuff like that, where there's no keywords even in the most important places that are mapped into the site. So just basic stuff people aren't doing. And a lot of times when you do see the sites there, it's just because there's not a lot of competition for that in any given area. So they do just kind of rank by default.
Yeah. Sal, were you going to say something?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, right now, like the common theme to a degree of why this is so successful is that no one else is really doing it, right? In the grand scheme of things. But what happens when, this secret sauce does get out more and other companies potentially replicate it or do something like that? And now the majority of people do it, right?
Can I say something about that? So here's the thing.
The question wasn't for you, Paul.
Shut up. I want to see if Andrew agrees with me. So the way I look at it, Andrew,
never shut up about this.
Fuck you. The way that I look at it, Andrew, is I look at it as real estate, right? If I get in there early and I'm building my site out like every day and I'm adding content, it's like I'm creating distance between me and the person that's trying to catch me, because you've got to create so much stuff to catch up, right?
Well, that's true, but to a degree, maybe the first people who, started to get on Zillow, right? When Zillow first came out and it was cheap and, they were buying these leads and creating something for that. Now someone can just plug in and pay the money and get the same.
Sal, but you're forgetting that the mortgage lead market is one of the most crowded lead markets on the planet, right? There is so much money being spent.
Right, but what happens when this space becomes crowded? I mean, obviously, there's things you have to be thinking about in the back of all your heads, right? Like, what's next, right?
Yeah, so I like what both of you are saying. Paul, trying to just build the gap between you and the next guy as big as possible, and don't ever rest. You've got to keep building, and don't ever feel like, oh, we got this, we're good, we can kind of stop doing some of that, we're going to just kind of cruise a little bit. Now you got to be relentless, hungry, constantly be looking at, hey, I'm chasing the guy in front of me. If you keep chasing Quicken Loans, you're going to be pretty much, the chase is going to be going on for a quite long time. So be hungry. Don't feel like you're the number one dog. Maybe even if you are number one in your area, look for the next dog to chase, because there's always going to be a bigger one that keeps you hungry, keeps you working on stuff, keeps you looking at everything in that kind of, from that kind of lens. Also, not putting all your eggs in one basket, right? Google changes things. Google, hey, algorithm change. Penguin, freaking everything you were just doing that you built your whole entire site on, gone. Everything right now overnight. Having different opportunities that feed your marketing is what's going to be really important. So you can always leverage different sources. So hey, we got Facebook going, we got Google ads running, we've got our organic SEO. We've been working on our reputation constantly. We're all the time building our email list. We've got a lot of people that are just downloading our free 2021 buy a house through COVID ebook, and that's got just growing our email list. And all we're trying to do there is get a name and an email address so we can drip these people and grow our database. And when we drip them, we start to send them links to our forums so that we can pull the better leads.
It's all connected. It's like a web, dude. There's a million different, because you end up getting all this data, and then it's like, what do you do with all the data?
Retargeting, banner ads. I mean, plugging your stuff into the best real estate agents in your market, because realtors get 10 times more traffic than you ever will, at least than any mortgage keyword out there. So start looking at good real estate agents who can drive traffic to your lead funnels, because you could plug those lead funnels into their websites and into their marketing, and both of you get leads out of it. And just
I'll give you an example, right? We've done like 120 podcasts, and on every podcast we've had really, really awesome agents. We've had some big names, and every time we do a podcast, that increases our distance from everybody else, because now we're connecting our name with someone else from an SEO standpoint, right? So the way that I think Andrew's saying it is, as long as you keep building the building, right? The building next to you, they're not going to build that much faster than you. You'll always kind of have a lead.
I mean, I think that's true in all facets of business, whether you're doing it online or, you run a muffler shop on the corner. I mean, you always have to be pushing, right? If you want to get ahead of your competition and building that gap. So I think that's true in every facet. But I guess the conversation of what we had today could change in 3 years, right? To your point, like the way Google gamifies things to a degree, right? That could change.
But it won't change that much, Andrew, as long as you're doing the right things. Would you agree? If you're always giving good content, Google's going to appreciate that, and your domain authority is going to go up more and more and more. It's when you stop providing value and updating your website and doing. There's a lot of things that you can do, Sal, I guess, to your point. But yes, things will always change, right? You have to adapt. If you don't adapt, you're fucked, no matter what you do, like you said, right? But Google will always be around. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and I would say that just as long as you're not doing sketchy stuff, really, just always be on the up and up. Do the white hat way. Do it the right way. Don't try to cheat. Anytime you try to cheat, dude, karma's going to come back and get you.
You'll get clipped. You'll get clipped back. Yeah.
Business partnership, relationship, or whether it's Google coming after you because they've caught the fact that you just are going overboard with how many keywords and pages you've hidden in your footer links, and who knows what kind of crap you might be doing. There's so much of that going on back in the day. But hey, as long as you put good stuff out there, I think it'll continue to pay dividends. And then again, just put your eggs in multiple different baskets, test different things, pay a lot of attention to the competition, and a lot of times too, just don't look at just other stuff you could be doing and spending more money on, but also like, hey, could we squeeze more out of this? A 1% lift in your lead conversion rate is a huge amount of money in the mortgage world. Like when you do the math on, okay, if we went up by 1% in conversion from clicks to leads, just 1%. 1,000, let's just say visits a month, we increased the lead conversion on that by 1%. That's 120 extra leads per year, right? If you close just 10% of those or even 5% of those, there's something considerable there in terms of commission and revenue opportunity. So just looking at, hey, here's the stuff we're currently doing. We're spending money on emails. We're doing these blogs. We got these videos going on. Like, are we optimizing it to the fullest in terms of how much we could be getting out of this stuff? Like, if I look at our blog posts or some of our content, are there areas and opportunities to get more from that in terms of lead conversion? Have we optimized our thank you page? Did we optimize our follow-ups? All this kind of stuff. You can a lot of times squeeze much more out of what you're currently doing. A lot of people jump into like new shiny objects. I want to try Instagram. And it's like, dude, your Facebook or your Google stuff isn't even doing what it should be doing for you. Fix that and make it better before you jump into spending more money on other stuff, because there's usually a lot more opportunity to squeeze more juice out of that fruit you've already got that's working for you.
I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. I got kicked off, but I was watching. Yeah, so we're running out of time, Andrew. I know we've kept you quite some time. We're going to go to 3 questions, but my question to you before we get to that is, being that you're more on the kind of the like the funnel side of it, right? What client? I mean, the clients that are using your product right now, if they don't have a lot of the stuff set up properly, I mean, how are you guys getting it to where you're helping people increase their traffic? I mean, because somebody could buy your product and they could put it on their website. It doesn't mean they're going to get anything out of it, right?
Yeah, it's like we've got really good pancake mix, the best, right? You need water. You're not going to get any pancakes.
Right.
You got to drive traffic. You got to get people to that site. So the lead funnels are the core product that we offer. It's our SaaS product. We have plug and play websites where we build you a mini lending tree style website. So someone comes to us, they're like, hey, I want to start using your lead funnels. We do what we call a digital marketing assessment. We give our clients a scorecard where we say, hey, here's what you're doing well. Here's just some areas of opportunity where we think we can help you improve everything from your reputation to how you're ranking to anything as far as your presence on social media, your website. We look to address those things. Website's usually low-hanging fruit for us. We take over a domain name, we fix the site, we get it optimized for lead conversion. A lot of times there's opportunities there. Just the fact that the client is online, they've been doing some marketing, they've got their domain name on stuff, that starts to make a difference. On top of that, we run Google ads, Facebook ads. We've just launched a retargeting banner ad service, Google Display Network. We're going to be launching LinkedIn services in the next couple of months. So we're doing a whole lot on top of the actual tech to actually help with the marketing side of things. So the tech's great, but you've got to get the traffic. So we've got a team internally that runs ads, helps that piece of the puzzle for our clients as well. So they can just focus on loans. We're even partnered up with a couple companies that will follow up and do your appointment setting on your leads for you and text your leads and call them like 25, 30 times over the 6 months that the lead comes in to help you get the lead to the closing table. So you're not even worried about that part of it. So we're trying to really create a platform there.
There's a huge opportunity, and you look at some of like some huge successful companies like United Wholesale Mortgage, right? They could have probably taken their platform, gone full retail, right, and just absolutely crushed it to a degree. But they're doing more and better by providing the smaller companies or the little guys, right, the one-man broker shops, the 100-person broker shops, not these giant, massive mortgage companies with the tools to succeed, right, and to compete. And if you are able to help a company like ours compete in this space, I mean, that's huge, right? I mean, and it's worth paying for it because we're never going to be able to build it on our own, right? To the degree to compete with Quicken, right? So
yeah, and it's always changing and improving it and testing it and plugging it into your other apps and your other systems and your platforms. It's a big, we want our clients to focus on loans, talk to realtors, work with your clients. Don't sit here trying to build tech like Zillow and Lending Tree and lower my bills, because it's complicated. It's a waste of time and money. Speed to market matters a whole lot. Again, a great example, Quicken Loans, they could have built stuff themselves. They're like, hey, forget that. That's going to take us years to try to catch up to what Lower My Bills is doing. Let's just buy Lower My Bills. We can't all buy Lower My Bills, right? So
right.
Okay, what tools are out there, though, that we can plug into so that speed to market, speed to getting results is cut down to literally we could be live doing this stuff this week and doing this stuff ourselves and building over time and understanding you're not going to step into the lead generation arena in the mortgage space, a crazy, crazy competitive space, and just get results like overnight without really doing a whole lot. Don't get upset. I saw this quote recently. Don't get upset about the results you didn't get for the work you didn't do. I love it. It's like, you got to put some effort into it. You got to spend some money and time on it. You might not get results within 60 or 90 days. You might not close a loan within 6 months. It might take a little bit of time. You're stepping into a highly competitive arena, but you're supposed to be building something for the long haul. You're going to want to generate your own leads over time. That is going to be a big value in the mortgage industry. The rainmakers, the people that can bring in the business are always going to be valuable in this industry. It's a lot of the automation, the back end stuff, the things that tech is going to eventually end up replacing a lot of. is going to go away or get phased out because of technology. Being able to actually bring in the client, bring in the opportunities is going to be valuable for a long period of time. So I think just focusing on that and partnering with companies that can help you achieve that is going to be important. And that's the place we found for ourselves, is working with smaller companies, businesses, mortgage companies. I've shifted away from working on the dark side. Started out working with Zillow and Bankrate, and I saw what kind of goes on with leads there and what they do to the consumer and that whole mess. And I'm like, okay, it was a good learning experience. Did some cool things there.
Yeah.
I like working with the people that need the help. I like the little guys more. We're the underdogs at this point. We want to fight for you guys to do what Zillow does and cut them out of the equation, ideally.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, dude, we've had you on for some time. I just want to get to 3 questions. We do this on every show, and then we'll let you go. So, question number 1, what scares? Oh shit! We just got a public. Look at this. Can you guys hear that?
Yeah. What's up with your camera, Paul?
I don't know why. On my side, it shows the right way. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm looking at a lamp. You've shapeshifted into.
I don't know why it's doing that.
Hit that little settings wheel and hit Microsoft Camera Front.
I did already.
Do you have maybe like two cameras and the other one's on?
I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know what's going on. Like on my screen, it shows the right camera. Anyways, so we're gonna wrap it up. What scares Andrew Pawlak? Remember, it's a podcast. Nobody sees us most of the time, anyways. Go ahead. What scares Andrew Pawlak?
Man, what scares me? The fact that I want to build a $1 billion company, and I'm limited in resources and bandwidth, and I'm starting to try to figure out what I can do to get us to the next level. And it doesn't scare me, but it does keep me awake. I've got so much stuff just sitting around in Google folders, files, things I've built, wireframes of new products, new innovations of our tech, and it just collects dust. And it scares me that I've got a lot of this stuff sitting around for years now, just collecting dust in folders that I know I would do if I had the money and had the opportunity to do it. And it's just it's a point of frustration in a way that I'm like, dude, I know what to do. I know what I want to build. And I got to get there, and it's patience. Like
as a visionary, it's hard when you see the vision and all you need is money and resources and human capital, and you feel like you can get there because you see the road, but you kind of have to walk, crawl, and all that stuff, right? Yeah. Next question. Anybody have a question for Mr. Pawlak before I go to the next 2?
Sure. Who wins in a fight to the death? A fully grown adult male gorilla or grizzly bear? And why?
Oh shit!
What?
I mean, that's the dumbest question we've ever had on the show, but grizzly bear, of course.
It's a debate I was having, and I want to get some other input on it.
Grizzly bear? What are you talking about?
Why?
Because it'll eat its face off.
Where are you having that debate at?
It doesn't matter.
On the shitter?
Behind Walmart?
You were taking a shit this morning. You were like, grizzly bear or gorilla?
I kind of feel like a gorilla is a lot more capable of like moving around, climbing up something, like doing some monkey business.
Yeah, but if they're gonna go at it and fight, right? If they're in the fucking fight, like I could run around.
If they're in a room, right? I mean, I think I'd take grizzly bear. If it's in the woods or the jungle, I think I would have to take the gorilla, because I mean, like you said, they can climb up a tree probably a lot faster than a bear.
Make a spear and stab him in the face because they can make tools, right? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Make a little tool. It's probably grizzly bear, but I like to think the gorilla.
All right. Next question is, if you could change one thing in your business today, what would it be and why?
One thing, if I could change one thing in my business today, man, I would have I'd have a much bigger team. For obvious reasons. I want a bigger sales force. I want more support, retention, upsell reps to sell some of our additional products and services, to be able to touch our clients more often when they sign up with us. So we're checking in and doing some more stuff there, doing what we can. But we have a small team. I want to build our team. I want to build our product, build our code. I would grow a lot quicker. I would have a lot more people on the team building the stuff I want to build and doing the stuff I have in my brain and I know we need to be doing and I want to do to get to the next level.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, dude, thank you for taking the time to do the show. You've always been gracious with your time with us. You've helped us out a lot as a business. You are one of the nicest mortgage professionals that I come across. There's a lot of really bad humans and dicks in our business. You aren't one of them, so that's good.
Sweet. I'll take it.
So, Andrew, tell the audience how they can get a hold of you or how they can find you, just in case they want to sign up for LeadPops.
Yeah. Easy to find us online. Just go to leadpops.com. You can sign up for a free trial of our SaaS product, mortgage funnels, real estate funnels, insurance funnels. We've got 3 different platforms depending on your industry. Leadpops.com, free trial, 30 days, or you can request a demo, talk to our team about our marketing solutions, our websites, a kind of a more holistic approach if you're looking for more than just the lead funnel tech. We've got a great team that'll do a scorecard, a digital marketing assessment, the request demo button, and free trial buttons are all over our website. We make it really easy, as you can imagine. I talked a lot about lead conversion, so we make it pretty easy to find us and then convert into a conversation for us as well.
Yeah, if you want to see what your website should do to lead capture, go to leadpops.com. You'll have a pretty good idea of how to lead capture. Real quick, 2021, better or worse than 2020?
Dude, could it get better? Get worse, dude. It will be better. It will be better. It'll be better. Magnificent. It's going to be a great year. So
all right,
it is what we make it, right? In a lot of ways. So we're going to make it awesome.
All right, brother. Well, thank you for being on the show. We will talk to you soon, and we're going to keep following your lead as far as when it comes to lead conversion, man. Thank you so much.
Cool. Awesome, guys. Thank you.
All right, Andrew. We'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, see you.
Guy's good, man. He knows how to generate leads. You know what I mean? Like it's he's helped us out a lot. Like he gamified the lead form, and we didn't think it would be that big of a deal, but our conversions went from like 5% to 15%. So it's pretty cool. He does a good job. Anything you guys want to add before we go? Bradley, Sal?
No, I mean, it's interesting getting these other perspectives from people who aren't necessarily doing just mortgages, right? So, and he's been doing this, what, 11, 12 years, he said?
Long time, yeah, long time.
Pretty awesome. But I think, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to skin the cat, right? You hate that.
Brad hates skinning cats, bro.
It's a horrible phrase.
Why?
Because he hasn't skinned pussy in his life, bro.
Yeah.
Man,
I can say that I am thankful that next week is not
there we go.
Fucking marketing
That's
show.
better.
We have some agents on next week. It's not all about marketing, so I'm excited for that. All right, goodbye.
You there, Paul?
Yeah, I'm here. Goodbye, guys. Have fun. Thank you for listening. Please go to IREpodcast.com, Facebook /IRE podcast. If you want to see how shitty our mustaches are. I actually miss not having a mustache. My picture's up right now, and I look way better without a mustache than I do now. Guys, I love you. We'll see you guys next week. Who do we have on next week? We have some agents from Arizona, I think.
Dave and Kim Penozo.
Yep. I talked to them on the phone. They're really, really good. So I'm excited to have them on the show. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. Boys, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye, dudes.